Bottero just this year. We've done a lot of new customers. That's why we kept working with Malcolm, because as we were growing, we kept finding bottlenecks and sticking points. So every time we tried to do something, we just couldn't get that extra work through the factory floor, out the door, because there was always something holding us back. So the way I looked at it was starting the office and then working its way out. We all done quite a lot of work with the factory and the machinery. So we knew what we could get through the factory, but it just wasn't happening. I had to look at how we're going to increase the throughput of the factory, and the biggest issue was trying to get the orders on. Just when we were in our old factory, we were very small. We had 4 employees, and I was basically doing all the order entry, all the delivery notes, the invoicing, and everything was separate. It was basically all done on Excel. I had a template, so I just did everything one at a time. Nightmare. And I used to basically work 5 days a week at a factory, and then work 2 days the weekend doing order input and invoicing. And it was horrendous. We got the very simple, straightforward package first, which was literally just all the order entry. The fact we could do labels, we never had any labels on anything. Everything was handwritten, like most small glass companies. We just write on with pen. So having labels was a novelty, but it made things a lot easier because we used to get all our glass toughened elsewhere. So that was a big issue for us. We couldn't track and trace where the glass was, we couldn't trace where it was, couldn't follow where it was going. So that changed the business in itself, made the order entry easy, made to figure out where things were. We could send purchase orders when we're getting bevels done or toughening done. And just in general, just see stuff, and the pricing. All the pricing before I was done manual, so it'd be me pricing every single thing one at a time, every piece, and then adding the UV bonding and adding painting and all these things that we do as extras, safety back. And I used to just add a table next to me with all my pricing for each customer and do everything manual, and then suddenly we could just do the whole lot. It was automatic. So that in itself transformed things and gave me the ability to actually get more work through the door, give me my weekends back. But then obviously those weekends got filled with doing work instead. So. And the amount of glass we were going through, the amount of offcuts being stuck down, it just was all building up. It wouldn't have worked. The volumes we're putting through now compared to this time last year, it wasn't working. So we had to look at how we're going to do it. And to me, the optimization was just the obvious choice, really. Because at the minute, well, before that, we were putting everything by hand. So the lads on the cutting tables were inputting every single thing and letting the table optimize it. So straight away, you're double entering numbers. You're going to have an error factor all the time because they're putting it themselves, they're rushing, they're trying to squeeze stuff on. So we basically tried to take that away from them. So now the cutters do not enter anything into the cutting tables. It's all done from the computer by disk. When you first look at it, you think, wow, that's a lot for what it is, because you think it's quite straightforward. I've got one that's on the cutting table, it does it itself. But when you actually work out what it really does, and then you actually work out how much you save a month, it's a no-brainer. I think within 2 months I'd pay for it. That's how good it was. We've added things onto it because you bolt things on as you want to do more with it. You can add the users, you can add doing things with shapes. You can just add these little bits as you're going along. So as we grew, we just added more things to it. So it enabled us to get a program that it started quite small for us, but it will keep going until we're tenfold, basically. We're already planning now the next thing, which is like the barcoding. And the production planning, so we've got a TV on the wall telling them we're full capacity and things like that. That's the next thing we're looking at. So we're always planning ahead. We know what the options are for planning ahead, and we know that the program will actually cope with that.